you have now survived NTC. Whether it's your first or 35th time, you've survived it, right? So you're going to be bringing home some hard-learned lessons. You're going to have tighter cohesion, and you're going to have stories that you're going to tell for years. And every time you go to NTC, you're going to be like, well, my last time at NTC, or I've been to NTC so many times. You're going to get the NTC gurus, right? Even if I've caught myself saying the same thing, well, last time, or you're going to catch someone saying, oh, when you're in the box and we're navigating, they're going to be like, oh, that's where we are. Oh, yeah, I remember last time we went around this and all that stuff. And you're going to have those stories. So I say all that to say this. NTC isn't just like another training event, to be honest with you. It's kind of like a rite of passage, especially if you're in the BCT world. It's physically brutal. It's mentally draining. It's professionally demanding.
Roger, sir!
Welcome back to the Roger Sergeant podcast, where we talk all things Army. And I'm your host, Sergeant Cruz. And today we're talking NTC. Now, this is one of the most intense, unforgettable, but absolute necessary experiences that I think a soldier needs in their career. And that's the National Training Center. And this is in Fort Irwin, California. Now, if you've ever wondered what actually happens before you step into the Mojave Desert, because that's where it is, or how units build their combat power, or what the box actually feels like, or how you come back from NTC in one piece, this is the episode for you. So I'm going to break down NTC from start to finish, from the prep phase and the packing, the combat power, the building combat power phase, the full rotation inside the box, and then the regen phase before heading home. So let's get into it. So number one, you're going to start by preparing before you even leave. So NTC in reality, it starts long before you hit your boots on ground or in the sand, if you will. So before you even get on the buses, before you even load these aircrafts, there's like real work that goes into the prep phase. So every soldier knows that the packing list is pretty much their lifeline. But experienced ones, the real ones who've been to NTC, know that there's a real packing list. And this is going to be the stuff that makes the actual rotation survivable. Now, don't get me wrong. There's always a general packing list, right? There's always going to be the packing list that you get either sent via email, on your text in the group chat. And for some reason, I don't know why, for some reason, you guys just refuse to download it or save it, whatever it is. But there's an actual packing list, and then there's the packing list. All right, so let's start off with your Army issued essentials, right? There are no shortcuts to this. You're mainly going to have a lot of your OCIE stuff, right? You're going to have it cleaned and pre-checked. So when you get over there, because it's going to get dirty, but you don't want to leave with stuff being dirty and then it gets sandy and dirtier and now it's just wrecked, okay? Another thing that I would say that you need to do is you need to pack extra socks, extra boot laces, extra boots, and foot care, okay? So how I pack is, I pack for every day that I'm there. I have my shirt, I have a set of socks, pair of socks, and then I have the underwear, and I'll roll all that in one. So every time I pull out my shirt, I'm pulling out a day's worth of stuff, or maybe 2 or 3. I don't know. It all depends. But generally, I shower every couple days. Batteries. You're going to need more batteries than what you think. Like when it comes to your headlamp, you're going to use that the entire time. Someone's going to forget batteries. Someone's going to go there without PMCS in their headlamp, and they're going to have a trash headlamp, and you're going to have to give them batteries or battle bro. They'll probably take a flashlight with the red lens, because red lens is huge, and that flashlight will probably be jacked up, so you'll probably have to use that. It's many things, right? You have 1, 2 headlamps, however you do it. Make sure you take more batteries than what you need. And then you're going to have your weapons cleaning kit, because a lot of units will wait till they get back But once there's downtime and they start seeing you not doing too much, weapons cleaning is going to be on the list. So just go ahead and get ahead of the 8 ball and just go ahead and take your weapons cleaning kit with you. Another thing that's part of the OCIE that people overlook, or they say, you know what, I really don't need it because we're in the desert, and that's your wet weather gear, right? You're in the desert, but NTC itself will surprise you. And not only that, right? In our last rotation that we just got back in November, it rained for like 4 days straight. Rain, stop. I was like, I've never been on an NTC rotation that it rained, but it decided to rain. So a lot of people, including myself, I didn't have my wet weather gear. So I just had to thug it out. Another thing is you're going to need your wet weather gear for when you're in the wash rack. Okay. And the next thing I would say towards OCIE stuff is have at least bare minimum 4 uniforms. And here's how this gets broken down, or how I break it down. I have a travel uniform, and then that travel uniform, I'm using it all throughout the combat, building combat power phase until we get in the box. Once we're on our way to the box, that day before, I'm already changing into my uniform that I have for the box. So it's going to be a travel uniform, 2 box uniforms. So you're in there for 2 weeks. I use one for 1 week and one another week. And then I'll do a regen uniform. And while I'm doing my regen time, I'll wash my first travel uniform and I'll use it to travel again, i.e. travel uniform. So 4 uniforms, 1 for travel and build combat power phase, 2 for the box, and then 1 for regen, and then recycle the first one. Okay. And then the last thing I'm going to say is, and I didn't do this in any of the NTC rotations. So I've been in the CAV for 5 years. And in the 5 years, I've done 4 NTC rotations. And this rotation is the only rotation that I actually took a light fighter tent with me. Take a light fighter tent. It's fun. You can use it if you're in the box. But 2, you can use it while you're in the Ruba because you sleep on the cot, and people make the whole joke of tent inside a tent. Yeah, I get it. Cool, whatever. But it's more for privacy. If you want to just lay down, you want to talk to your significant other without anyone looking and all that stuff. You want to watch something. No one's watching you. You want to scroll. No one's sitting there just in your stuff. Or you just want to disconnect and you don't want to see nobody. And that's when you just get in your tent and you relax and you just be like, that's it. Okay. So some other things that you can take is like, they're like small convenient items. That's going to pretty much save your sanity. And these are going to be your baby wipes. You need baby wipes. I don't care. Don't be a nasty and not take baby wipes and say, I'm going to thug it out, or I'm going to just use bird bath and use my water source and just hit the hot spots. You can't hit the hot spots effectively. Your butt cheeks will be like Velcro if you don't take no baby wipes. I'm going to tell you that right now. You're going to need foot powder. You'll be surprised how many people, how their feet get so nasty, and then they can't do anything about it because they decided not to have any foot powder. So they're all moist and stuff because a lot of you guys are not going to change your socks for some reason every day. And then all that moisture builds up and now your feet are just all messed up. But if you have some foot powder to help you out, plus it keeps your feet from stinking badly. Your feet are going to stink because you're wearing boots all day. But yeah, you're going to need moleskin. Trust me on the moleskin. Before you leave, either order some on your own or go to your medics before you leave. Your medics are going to have some, but you're only going to get it when you go to see them. And if you're not hurt inside the box, you're probably not going to see your medics a lot. And a lot of times medics, we just have excess moleskin from 1989, and we're just trying to get rid of it. So do that. So have your headlamp. Like I told you before, your headlamp is what you're going to need. Not just a flashlight. Have a flashlight, but have your headlamp on top of that. And take extra gloves. There's no way around it. I would say the majority of the time, you're going to get fuel on your gloves. Unless you never freaking fuel your vehicle, you tell someone else to do it or someone else is doing it for you, you're going to need it. You're going to run through gloves even without the fuel. This is just fuel. You're going to run through gloves. Your fingertips are going to get all messed up. So your fingertips will get exposed because you're just picking stuff up, dropping it, picking up, like you're constantly moving, and you have to have your gloves on pretty much at all times. Take an extra set of gloves. The next thing I want to touch on are like food items that you need to pack because you're not always going to have MREs all the time. And then on top of that, I'm not sure if you guys have seen it, but you've come to the website Army WTF and you've seen how people complain about not having MREs or whatever it is. It's going to happen because the whole operation is to stress systems, and sometimes the logistical side kind of takes the bigger burden, right? So make sure you pack a jet boil. Buy you a jet boil. If you're not going to buy one personally, just split up the money in between your team, your squad, your platoon, however you want to do it. Just get a jet boil. It's good for making food. It's good for the morning coffee. It's good for shaving if you want to shave in with hot water. Get you a jet boil, and it'll save your life. Get you beef jerky. Get you some protein bars. Lots of protein bars. Have your electrolyte packets. That's a must. Have a couple, not a couple. You can have up to a couple a day without like really not causing any significant issues with your body. But a lot of times you guys depend on the medics to have it. And you're not going to see your medics all the time. You're not going to go to your roll one all the time. So you're not always going to get any electrolytes from your medical personnel. So therefore take your own. And another thing that kind of saved my life when I was there were tortillas. I'm telling you, they are clutch. And on top of that, they survive in the heat better than bread. So you take your tortillas and you just either put peanut butter and jelly. It doesn't matter. Whatever it is that you want to eat, you can put ramen in them. I don't care. You can put anything in a tortilla. So get you a few packs of tortillas, and then you're good. You sometimes, as you already know, these MREs come with it. Some of them do, and some of them don't. And the ones that don't, you can just take the meal and just wrap it in there. Instant coffee pouches are clutch, or instant coffee. Like when I went there, my dietitian, she had the whole time. Yeah, I think we had to kind of like do 3 days without the instant coffee that she brought because they were Starbucks. But we kind of replenished that with the instant coffee from the MREs, right? So have those instant coffee, whichever one you use, just have it. Peanut butter, like I mentioned, is a lifesaver. Those Cliff Bars, ramen noodles, staple. It is a staple when you're in the box. Nothing hits better than a pack of ramen noodles, or two, however you do it. A pack of ramen noodles when you're in there. So take advantage of the Connex pack out to get all your poke bait in there. That's the bottom line of that. Have to, whatever you want to take with you. Some people, I've seen people take what are those called, rice cookers, because they have plugins. They got rice cookers, so they cook rice, cook their Spam, cook their vegetables like inside that rice cooker. So whatever it is that you want to take that you can't traditionally take in your what are these called, inside your rucksack or anything like that, you just put it in a tough box, put it in the Connex, and then forget about it until you get there. So this kind of like is the phase in where leaders do like intense PCCs and PCIs, like they're nonstop. You kind of get to you're fighting to get all your itemized stuff on your 1750s that go into the Connex. So you load them, you ship them, and you pray to whatever it is that you pray to, that the Connex actually arrives at the same time that you do. So at this point, I'd say you've kind of already started NTC. You just haven't realized that you started it. So now we're going to go to the second part, which is building combat power. So this is where your unit arrives, and then they start putting the pieces back together. So you're going to hit the Ruba, and you're going to go do the RSOI, which is the process, which is in process, reception, something, and integration. You're going to draw all your equipment, your miles gear, whatever. I don't know why we still use that, but whatever, or that type, but I digress. Your miles gear, You're going to get your vehicles. They're either going to come from Yermo or they're going to come from Prepo. Whatever it is, you're going to get your vehicles. You're going to get all your comms. You're going to get your weapons. And then for the next few days, all you're going to hear is a whole bunch of generators just sounding off. You're going to hear wrenches and you're going to hear people yelling for missing BII. For some reason, BII just happens to get lost. It's weird, but it happens. Okay. So as for you, what you're going to be doing a few things, right? If you're going to the Prepo yard, then here are kind of like a few tips, right? First thing you want to do, you want to get your paperwork from your executive officer, your XO. And then if you're kind of a junior soldier, then you're going to get it from your platoon sergeant. They're going to give it to you. Then you're going to take that paperwork. You're going to go to the Prepo yard. There's going to be a kind of like a box or a sign that's going to have the layout of the entire Prepo yard from the beginning all the way to the back. And it's going to have vehicles by a nomenclature. So you have your JLTVs, your Brads, your tracks. You're going to have your wheel. So pretty much wheeled, tracks, and trailers. And then it'll have all the sustainer stuff too. So you look there and you see what your vehicle is by the number, and then you go find it. It's probably in Bravo 2, 15 vehicles down. So you go there, you find it. First thing you want to do is you want to do your PMCS. You're going to do your PMCS. What I do is I do the PMCS and then I record the vehicle on my phone all the way through, all the way around. If there's any deficiencies, I'll notate them and I'll record them. So therefore, when I get back and it's time to go through the regen phase, and then I have kind of proof that it was like that. But another thing is, if you sign for something and they don't put their initials that was like that, then it's on you to fix it. We'll talk about that in a second. So we do that. Then you go to the little kiosk. She's going to give you the paperwork, and then you're going to go to the back. You're going to go get signed off on your radio stuff. Then you're going to go on the test ride. While you're doing your test ride, your road test, you're going to be looking for any deficiencies within the vehicle because that's your during phase of the PMCS. And then when you're done, make sure you look at your fluid levels, because your fluid levels, like with me, I got turned back. I had a Prepo, so I got turned back on the regen phase to the RUFMA and the inspection twice for having too much oil. And that was because after the test, after the road test, you're going to your oil levels rise a little bit. So therefore, make sure that you do the after as well. That's my point. Then after you do that, you're going to go get it dispatched through your unit or battalion, and make sure you have the proper nomenclature. If you have a winch on it, make sure you have winch on your license. If you have an A1, A2, whatever it is, make sure that's on your license. It's the specific vehicle. So make sure that happens. And then you just take the vehicle. And you're still, at this point, you're going to have to test your radios, zero weapons, or zero that little, dang it. Or you're going to zero I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. But on your M4s, you have your weapon, and then you have that little miles gear in the front, which the laser. Oh my God. You can zero the laser. A lot of units don't even do that anymore. But a lot of times you're going to zero that. But the real zeroing goes for the track vehicles, the M1s, the tanks, and the Brads. They're going to do their zeroing and stuff for when live fire comes. And then you're going to fix vehicles that are all of a sudden broken during transport. You're going to notice something's going on, and you're going to have to fix that before you get there. You're going to make sure that your logistics tracking is set, and make sure you're going to rehearse for the mission, and you'll get all this stuff. You'll see it. This is also where leadership stress level hit on 1,000. I want to say level 10, but level 1,000, because there's a small window. The clock is already ticking. So because once you cross that berm, once you get into the box, you're expected to perform like a fully operational unit, like no excuses. So the building combat power is about getting ready for the fight before the fight even starts. Number 3, training in the box, which is the Mojave Desert. If you've never been to the Mojave Desert, that's your welcome. Fort Irwin, California. This is where the real NTC begins, right? Once you cross the berm, once you see the sign that says the box, you're in a completely different world. Like, the box is the Army's toughest, largest training environment, I think, in my opinion, that a soldier can go to. And I think it's a fact, to be honest. And yeah, lastly about this, you cannot have your phone. You're going to get so upset because they're going to have exceptions to people like the top 5, your first sergeants. You're going to see people, your PAs maybe have them. Some people are going to have their phones and they're going to give you all these excuses. Oh, because then you'll have a digital footprint and they can hone in on you and figure out where you are. All that excuses because they don't want you sidetracked. That's my opinion, right? You can't have your phone in there. So get over it as soon as you get there. Tell your family, tell your loved ones, your friends, whatever it is. Let them know from this date, because the box has 10 days or a certain amount of days, right? 14 days. From this date, let's say the 3rd to the 17th, I will not have access to my phone. That's it. Just do it. Get over it quick. So I digress. So what actually makes the box brutal are things like the desert heat. In the daytime, it's going to be super hot, uncomfortable. You're going to be having to break down stuff, set up stuff, move stuff. You're going to be moving. Some of you guys are going to be chugging along because you guys are light. And then in the evening, all that's going to change like that. It's going to be cold. It's going to be windy. It's going to be annoying. You're going to have to sleep in your sleeping bag, completely in your sleeping bag. If that's how you do it, tankers, you guys in your tanks, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, the things, that's the number one thing that makes kind of like the desert really challenging. And then there's going to be dust that gets into like every pore of your being, even in your weapon. So it's going to get into every pore of you. You're going to get your M4, or your M17, whatever it is that you carry. As soon as you pull, like you try and rack it or whatever it is, you're going to hear the dust in it. It's just there. It's just dust. You're not going to escape that. And then your uniform is going to feel all heavy because you're sweaty, and then it keeps the dust on it, blah, blah, blah. So the dust. And then on top of that, you got the OPFOR, which the OPFOR is kind of like the best opposing force because in the Army, because they know everything that you know. They do this time and time and time again. Every single month they do this. They've seen every strategy. There's no way to really, really beat the box. There's just the best strategy for beating the box, something that they've never seen or something that they've seen, but you are just aggressive with it. You can't convince me that you can beat it. It's just really to check and see if you guys have actually done your research and you guys have done your collective training. Then on top of that, you got the constant movement. I'm talking about day, night. You're going to feel like you're sleep deprived. And then, especially if you work night shift, like I've always done night shift because I'm at a brigade level. I'm on staff. So it's only 3 people in my section, which is myself, my meadow, and then my brigade surgeon. So who's going to take the night shift other than the NCO? That's me, right? So I take the night shift, and then in the daytime, I still got to drive. I still got to move stuff. I still got to do it, operate on a regular basis, but it's just whenever it's a la carte. So maybe they may not say nothing at 7 o'clock that we're moving, at 07 that we're moving, or we are. Who knows? But in reality, the chaos of real mission sets and it stresses you out, right? So that's the bottom line of that. And then the next thing is like the types of stress that you'll more likely encounter in NTC are mainly these. There are going to be force-on-force battles. They're going to be call for fires. They're going to be casualty simulations, logistical disruptions, convoy operations. You're going to have to worry about the defense and the offense. And then on top of that, the last thing, which is the center. This is kind of like the star of everything, which is your urban operations at Razizh. That is kind of like you're going to go through Razizh regardless. So that's kind of like a town that it's all built up. And these people who are there, the actors, they literally do that for a living. So they get into their role. But the box itself is kind of designed to break your bad habits and break them fast. You learn what you're good at and what you're not good at easy, like immediately. Another thing is that when you're at NTC, this is where you and your soldiers, you're going to bond. And this is all created through suffering. In other words, as we call it, trauma bond. You're going to remember moments kind of like eating an MRE in the dark. You're going to remember moments kind of like trying to sleep on rocks. You're going to remember moments kind of like losing track of what day it is. Like no one even knows what day it is. We don't even go by dates. We go by day 1, 2, 3, and 4. You're going to remember waking up to like movement orders, and you're going to swear that you just went to sleep like 20 minutes ago. And it was probably like 3-4 hours ago. But in my opinion, this is also where the unit grows the most in reality, in the box. So now let's move into number 4, which is the regen phase or regeneration phase. Sadly. So once you finish your final mission and exit the box, you're now entering the regen phase. And this is the phase where the unit brings itself back up to fighting shape. So another thing when it comes to that getting out the box thing it is a bitch and a half. I remember this rotation, we didn't do it, but I remember once we're told we're leaving the box, we went to FOB Miami, they've done their live fire, whatever it is. We go stop at Whales Gaps and columns and chalks. And then they let you go by 15, 20 minutes, whatever it is. And then when it's time to get on the Aruba or into Fort Irwin, it is just a bottleneck because now you got to throw away all your trash and stuff like that. So that takes up to like 5 hours. But they didn't do that this time. They just threw us in chalks and it was super seamless. Shout out to Blackjack for that. But what does this phase include? Well, it includes your weapon cleaning. It includes your PMCSs on every vehicle, whether it's Prepo or home station, you're going to PMCS those vehicles. Now, Prepo is the worst of the worst. I can make a whole separate video alone on just Prepo. Just know if you accepted a vehicle in a certain way and it's not up to par when you take it back, you can argue till you're blue in the face with that person that's checking you off, but you're going to have to fix it. That's it. They're going to tell you you shouldn't have accepted it that way. You're going to do that. At this point, you're going to be recovering any damaged equipment that you left in the box or any damaged equipment that you have. You're going to be resetting tactical gear. You're going to be final AARs are going to happen. You're going to be reorganizing your supplies. You're going to be turning in your equipment. And a notable mention to this part of the phase is that once you get everything done, because you know how the Army is, we have to leave everything better than when we got it. So you're going to be cleaning the motor pool, cleaning the roofma, cleaning the Aruba itself. But here's where all the silly details start. Because why not, right? Why not do it? I'm going to tell you. You will be surprised things that come up when soldiers are laying around. And this is a great, I typically like to keep my videos minus my personal opinion, but this is something that really grinds my gears. So if you for 2 weeks, let's say for instance, your build combat phase and your regen phase, you've been allowing soldiers to cross streets and all that stuff. Then all of a sudden, because there's nothing to do, you've shipped all your vehicles, you've driven them down to Yermo, you've done whatever. Now all of a sudden you got crossing guards. You got a whole detail for crossing guards. Okay. You have a whole detail for standing at the motor pool, making sure no one throws anything away. You have a whole detail. Well, I can get this, but you have a whole detail at the latrines because you're going to have your phantom shitter. I don't know why this happens, but it's happened multiple rotations that I've been on, at least. I can't. But my point is, you're going to have detail for the detail for the detail, because in the military, we cannot see Joe just sitting down. And it is what it is. So I'll say that, one, to gripe about it, but two, so you can be mentally prepared if you are a junior enlisted, that you will be doing silly details when there's nothing to do. That's what I want you to understand. Like, fully grasp that. Because at this point, the chaos, it kind of starts to slow down. You can finally exhale. You're exhausted. You're filthy. I don't know why I said filthy. You're filthy, but I can certainly say you're more than likely sharper than when you first arrived, right? So regeneration is where you look back and say, damn, we really did that. That's how y'all say it? We really did that. So number 5, you're going to be preparing to go back home. And this right here is the final phase. Is basically the reverse prep. The reverse prep. But with the mental relief of knowing that your next stop is home. But at this point, you're going to pack the connexes, and you're going to have connex SI guard, which is you know what SI guard is, sensitive equipment. Did I just say SE guard? You're going to have SI guard. It says sensitive equipment. But this is where you're going to watch your radios, your weapons that are inside a connex, and you're going to have, again, back to the, well, that's not a dumb thing, but it can be avoided. But I digress. You're going to pack the connexes. You're going to guard the connexes. You're going to turn in all your equipment. You're going to clean all the weapons until they're like shiny, where it takes 1 hour or 8. You're going to clean all the miles gear. You're going to clean anything that they gave you. You're going to clean it back. Like I said, some units will wait for the weapons until you get back, but at some point you're going to clean them. But here you can. And then once it's time for you to go, you're going to you're going to out process the installation through your ADAG. Then you're going to load the buses. You're going to count gear. You're going to count personnel. You're going to count again. You're going to count again. You're going to count again. And then you wait. And then you're going to wait again. And then you're going to go to march, and you're going to wait again. Then you're going to get on the airplanes, and you're going to wait again. In my rotation this time, we flew into Austin, took a bus back, and then we were back home. A lot of times, this is the only one that I've ever flown into Austin, but a lot of times you'll fly right into clean. But once you're on the road, or once you're in the air, and you're heading back home, it hits you. You have now survived NTC. Whether it's your first or 35th time, you've survived it, right? So you're going to be bringing home some hard-learned lessons. You're going to have tighter cohesion, and you're going to have stories that you're going to tell for years. And every time you go to NTC, you're going to be like, well, my last time at NTC, or I've been to NTC so many times. You're going to get the NTC gurus, right? Even if I've caught myself saying the same thing, well, last time, or you're going to catch someone saying, oh, when you're in the box and we're navigating, they're going to be like, oh, that's where we are. Oh, yeah, I remember last time we went around this and all that stuff. And you're going to have those stories. So I say all that to say this. TC isn't just like another training event, to be honest with you. It's kind of like a rite of passage, especially if you're in the BCT world. It's physically brutal. It's mentally draining. It's professionally demanding. But it makes you a better soldier, a better leader, and it creates better teams. I hope my breakdown gave you an insight to what it looks like, what it really is to go to NTC, to really go through a full rotation from the prep phase to the building combat power phase, to the grind that's inside the box, to the regen phase, and then the final push home. If you're heading to NTC soon, good luck and go prepared. And if you've been there before, then you already know the deal. And always remember, you don't have to embrace the suck if you got the right tools in your ruck. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I'm Sergeant Cruz, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Roger, Sergeant.